The Worldview Prison. The large majority, or possibly all people, are unable to accept or even process data, even personal experiences, perceived to contradict their worldview. This is common human behavior. It's not a function of intelligence, education, social status, or any other obvious marker. In fact, highly educated, intelligent people may be more prone to it as they are better equipped, like a good lawyer, to rationalize away obviously contradictory data or experiences. One should not think our worldview is a rigorous axiomatic system like Euclid's geometry, or the precise, logically consistent rules of games like chess. It's not rational in the usual sense. It appears to be a hodgepodge of elements and can often contain contradictory elements. It is highly social in nature, being comprised of direct personal experience and the claims of authority figures and groups we identify with, such as our family, tribe or nation, profession, etc. It's closely associated with our sense of group identity. Many people can and do change their worldview, but it usually follows sustained negative direct personal experiences over a period of years, very rarely less than 6 months. Data alone, in the sense of books, newspaper articles, peer-reviewed research papers, databases, spreadsheets, etc., almost never changes the worldview. Direct personal experiences, usually strongly negative, are the underlying cause in most cases. Once these have occurred and begin to work their way through the subconscious and conscious mind, the person will begin to seriously engage, quote, data, unquote, whereas before they may not have even been able to see that very same data, ignoring it, dismissing it out of hand, reacting with great hostility to obvious baloney or lies. It may be that an extreme traumatic event, such as the loss of a loved one, to an immediate negative reaction to a vaccine, can cause an immediate change of worldview. Less than 6 months, but this seems quite rare. Beliefs about science and vaccines constitute a worldview or part of a worldview for many people, especially for scientists, engineers, and other technical people for whom, quote, science, unquote, constitutes an actual substitute for a religion or other spiritual beliefs. Other psychological concepts such as denial and cognitive dissonance overlap with this concept of a rigid, difficult-to-change worldview. Cognitive biases seem strongest, most difficult to overcome for elements of the worldview. This behavior of the worldview in most, possibly all people, suggests that attempts to persuade others where the worldview of some or all may be involved should focus on drawing their attention to their own direct experiences, especially negative experiences, in-person experiments or demonstrations of contradictory phenomena, and persuading those for whom the issue is not connected to their worldview. It's difficult, perhaps impossible, to distinguish true belief in a worldview from deliberate deception and fraud, including so-called gaslighting, because the ability to perceive both experiences and data is substantially impaired. The true believer genuinely cannot see obviously contradictory evidence that others can easily see. Nor is there a sharp dividing line between true belief and fraud. Authority figures in the group may engage in Plato's noble lies to protect the worldview, and often their power, not because they don't mostly believe in the worldview, but in the same way that parents simplify, hide, sugarcoat, or flat-out lie to children to protect them from complex and painful issues. I've changed my worldview a few times. It's a rare occurrence. In all cases, the sequence of negative experiences preceded even conscious doubt of the underlying assumptions in my worldview by at least 6 months. The whole process took a couple of years in each case, from start to finish. Major scientific and technological breakthroughs frequently involve a change of worldview. The inventors and discoverers usually spend several years failing miserably before the flash of insight, the change of worldview, occurs. The final flip can be quite fast, but is almost always preceded by long periods of failure. There are, for example, many accounts of the change of worldview, moment of insight, the eureka moment, happening almost instantaneously on a contemplative walk or other break after a long period of hard but unsuccessful work. Note that reading about the many failures of previous researchers does not lead the inventor or discoverer to abandon the prevailing wisdom of how to solve the problem. It usually appears to require personal, repeated failure as well. What does this mean both for persuading others and being sure of our own beliefs? Direct personal experiences are more persuasive. Test your own beliefs if you can. In your own mind, clearly distinguish between the relatively small number of beliefs well-founded in repeated, clear, direct personal experiences, and those derived from others, generally external authorities and groups that you identify with. This is easier said than done. For example, many people, especially scientists and engineers, are taught that it is obvious that the Earth is a sphere about 8,000 miles in diameter, and believe it is obvious when in fact it's not, unless you have actually circumnavigated the Earth or flown on a spaceship. Try demonstrating to yourself that the Earth is a sphere about 8,000 miles in diameter from only your own personal experience, not reciting claims by science popularizers such as the late Carl Sagan or other people, other third parties. Get others to notice personal contradictory experiences and to test their beliefs firsthand. This is not always possible. There is no guarantee of success. Remarkably, we often consider elements of the worldview derived from the words of others, everyone knows, just as solid and true as those based on personal experience. Even more reliable in some cases. How could everyone be wrong? How could all the experts be wrong? Psychoanalyzing people to their face is usually not persuasive. Most people find it offensive and patronizing. Most highly educated people are well aware of cognitive biases. It's in the news. Many are not aware that there are social psychology studies that knowing about cognitive biases does not immunize you to them. Daniel Kahneman actually effectively retracted one chapter of his book, which contained an obviously statistically underpowered study. Even the experts are demonstrably vulnerable to confirmation bias and other cognitive biases. See https://replicationindex.com category Kahneman, spelled Kahneman. Paradoxically, knowledge of cognitive biases, including the extreme rigidity of the worldview, provides a powerful set of tools to dismiss obviously contradictory experiences, evidence, and data. I know about these biases and those nitwits over there do not. The data was cherry-picked, etc., etc. One should be cautious about accusing people of deliberately lying or gross stupidity where the worldview is likely involved, as highly intelligent, educated, true believers are truly unable to see, accept, or otherwise process contradictory data or even personal experiences. Nor is this unusual or pathological behavior. Most of us are true believers in something. One should also keep in mind the parable of the blind men and the elephant, when different worldviews seem grossly incompatible. Each blind man, having never encountered an elephant before and touching a different part of the elephant, describes the elephant as like a snake, a tree, a sharp spear, etc. It may be that each contradictory worldview is substantially incomplete. All have some truth, and all are wrong. In the case of the worldview, in contrast to other beliefs, we are unable to treat it as provisional, as possibly wrong. We are true believers in our worldview, and our group is obviously right. This concludes this video presentation. If you like this video, please click like. Please click subscribe and the notification bell if you would like to receive more content from us. You can avoid internet censorship by subscribing directly to our RSS news feed. Please consider sharing the link by email and on your website or blog, in addition to liking, upvoting, or sharing on increasingly censored, advertising beholden, big company social media. We have encountered such censorship. Mathematical software is developing algorithms and software to automate data analysis, reducing the risks of costly errors and increasing the predictive power of the results. You can support our work financially by subscribing on our Patreon page, https://www.patreon.com/mathsoft, or scanning the QR code in the lower right corner.